Hey there, English learners. Waving hand, welcome back to the podcast, your safe space to grow in English with confidence.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jay, and today we're talking about one of the most common situations in any language, introducing yourself.
That's right. Whether it's at a job interview, your first day in class, or meeting someone new at a party, you'll hear that classic question. So, tell me about yourself.
And let's be honest, many of us freeze. You know who you are, but somehow your mind goes blank.
In today's episode, we'll help you feel more comfortable and confident when talking about yourself in English. We'll explain why it's hard, why it's important, give you useful tips, and finally, listen to a fun conversation example.
And don't forget, at the end of this episode, we'll break down some important vocabulary and expressions used in today's dialogue, so you can grow your English step by step. Let's get into it.
Let's start with something simple but very real. Why is talking about yourself in English so difficult?
Yeah, it seems like it should be easy, right? After all, no one knows you better than, well, you. But when someone says, so, tell me about yourself, many people, especially English learners, suddenly freeze.
Exactly. There are a few reasons for that. First of all, it's such a broad question. There's no clear direction. It's open-ended. And that makes your brain work harder because you have to decide what's important and what's not.
And let's be honest, it's not just about words. It's about performance. You're trying to make a good first impression, sound confident, and use correct grammar, all at the same time.
Can feel like a test. Like people are evaluating how smart or interesting you are based on a few sentences. And that kind of pressure makes it even harder to speak clearly, especially in a second language.
Also, many people have never actually practiced talking about themselves. It's not something you rehearse every day. So when the moment comes, it's unfamiliar and uncomfortable.
There's also the fear of being boring. Some learners think, my life isn't that interesting, or I don't know what to say that people will care about. But here's the truth. You don't have to be interesting, you just have to be honest and confident.
Exactly. And let's not forget the language barrier. Even if you know how to talk about yourself in your native language, you might not have the right vocabulary or grammar in English, and that adds more pressure.
So in short, talking about yourself is hard because it involves so many things at once: thinking, remembering, organizing, performing, and speaking in another language. But the good news is, you can make it easier with the right tools and practice.
Now that we understand why it's difficult, let's talk about why it's actually worth learning. Why should you invest time in improving your self-introduction?
Well, first of all, a good introduction is like your personal first impression superpower. It's what people remember. In the first 10 to 20 seconds of meeting someone, they start forming an opinion, whether they even realize it or not.
So if you can speak clearly, smile, and say a few confident sentences about yourself, people instantly feel more comfortable around you. It builds trust and connection.
And let's not forget, it's useful everywhere. Not just at English class. Think about job interviews, networking events, school introductions, dating, online meetings, or even traveling. Almost every situation where you meet someone new will begin with, "Tell me about yourself."
Right. And being able to answer that question easily saves you stress. Instead of panicking, you feel prepared. That means less anxiety and more space to actually enjoy the conversation.
Also, introducing yourself well is a sign of confidence. Even if your English isn't perfect, if you can express yourself clearly and comfortably, people will notice your attitude more than your grammar.
Plus, it helps you feel good about your English. When you hear yourself introduce who you are and what you love, you start to think, wow, I can actually do this.
And here's something powerful. When you get comfortable talking about yourself, you also get better at talking about other things. 'Cause you're building your fluency, your pronunciation, and your confidence all at once.
So yes, it might be challenging at first, but learning how to introduce yourself is one of the smartest things you can do to grow your English, your self-confidence, and your social life.
That's why we're here today, to help you master it step by step.
Now let's get practical. Here's a simple 5-step method to introduce yourself in English.
Step 1. Start with the basics. Say your name and where you're from. Example, Hi, I'm Emma. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
Step 2. Mention your job or what you study. Example, I'm a university student. Or, I work as a web designer.
Step 3. Talk about your hobbies. Example, I love painting and playing the guitar.
Step 4. Share a strength or personality trait. Example, I'm very organized. Or, I'm a great listener.
Step 5. Optional, add a fun fact or story. Example, one time I cooked for 10 people and nobody got food poisoning.
It doesn't have to be long, just natural and friendly. And a little humor always helps.
Now that you've written it, how do you practice?
Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and say your introduction. You'll build confidence and improve pronunciation.
Record yourself, use your phone. Listen back and notice what sounds good and what could be improved.
Practice with someone. Try it with a friend, a tutor, or someone in your English class. It's less scary with support.
Use it in real life. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use small parts of your introduction anytime you meet someone new.
And remember, you don't have to sound perfect. You just have to start. That's how confidence grows.
Now that we've listened to the conversation between Alex and Ivy, let's break down some useful vocabulary and expressions they used. These are words that can help you express yourself better when introducing yourself, or even in everyday conversations.
Let's start with the word creative. If someone is creative, it means they have lots of new ideas. They think outside the box. They're good at making or imagining new things, like art, music, stories, or designs. Speaking head example. Alex is a creative designer. He comes up with amazing logos for his clients.
Even if you're not an artist, you can still be creative in how you solve problems or approach your work. It's a great word to describe yourself. Next is the word tiring. This describes something that makes you feel tired or exhausted. Be careful, this word describes the thing, not you. Teaching kids can be really tiring, even though it's fun.
Right. You could also say, working a double shift is tiring. The long hike was tiring. But remember, if you want to describe yourself, you say, I'm tired, not I'm tiring. That would mean you make other people tired. Now, this is a beautiful word. Rewarding. If something is rewarding, it means it makes you feel happy, satisfied, or proud, especially after putting in some effort. Speaking head example. Ivy said working with children is rewarding, even though it's hard work.
Exactly. Other examples include, volunteering is very rewarding. Learning English is challenging, but it's also rewarding when you start to understand more. Let's move to a really useful word, unwind. It means to relax after something stressful or busy, like after work or after studying. Speaking head example. After a long day of teaching, Ivy said she likes to unwind by reading mystery novels.
Think of it like letting go of the pressure. You can say, I like to unwind by listening to music. Watching a funny movie helps me unwind.
And fun fact, unwind comes from the image of slowly turning something loose, like relaxing a tight spring or a coiled rope. So yes, your mind is tight and you help it loosen.
And the last word is patient. If you're patient, it means you can wait calmly or keep trying, even when things are difficult, slow, or frustrating. Speaking head example. Alex said he's very patient, which helps him with design work that needs a lot of changes.
Being patient is important in so many areas, especially in learning a new language. Speaking head more examples. You have to be patient when practicing pronunciation. Parents need to be patient with their children.